Hello, hello. Welcome to the channel. If you're catching the recording, special big howdy to you. We'll be, of course, having people join us live, but I'm super excited about our guest today, Melanie Wallace from Stand Tall Marketing Group. Before I introduce her, please hit the like button, subscribe, know that the comments are open. We're here to interact as well. So things are open. If you're catching the replay and you still want to comment, would love for you to do that. And I'll make sure Melanie gets, if you have a question for her, that we get that over to you and comment back. Okay, enough housekeeping. Melanie, we put your bio below. I know a little bit of your backstory and where you're coming from, but share with our audience here what brought you to where you are today and what makes you so excited about what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. I'm excited to be here. I'm Melanie Wallace. As you said, I am the CEO and founder of Stand Tall Marketing Group, and we are a boutique strategic brand development agency. We help build a foundation to direct all of your future marketing efforts for your business through data and research. So we're not just a logo or a website. It's all very strategically created and gives you a plan to move forward with. How I got here is probably longer than what we really have time for, but I am, so I have 20 years of experience as far as sales, marketing, and in the entrepreneurship game, if you will. I refer to myself as being a bit of a serial entrepreneur. I started my first business at 19.
Wow.
And lost that business as a result of the Great Recession in 2008. And so at that point, I actually did drop out of the entrepreneurial space, took a job, and spent over a decade in the insurance industry, which I'm still active in. And moved back into marketing when I was looking to do something on my own, and through lots of trial and error and doing it wrong and figuring things out, ended up wanting to help others not have to go through that same process. Mm-hmm. And that's how I ended up as a strategic brand developer. So
yeah, quite a twisting tale there. And it's like you're kind of always have been an entrepreneur, but when dormant for a little while. And now do you feel like you're bringing out your true self again as you're pursuing entrepreneurial endeavors?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I'm still involved in the insurance world. I actually really enjoy, some people are like, ooh, insurance. I mean, but it's something that I really enjoyed doing. I still enjoy doing it. And so I keep my foot in there because I feel like that has actually been a foundational part too of what I bring to the table for my clients, is that I have a lot of experience in a lot of different things. And so I'm able to bring that to them as well. I offer more than just your typical branding, like I said, like designer look at things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and yeah. I've heard you talk about your field of expertise with marketing a lot, and I know you've got amazing value that you share all the time. I'd love to for our conversation today, talk about a little bit about how you define branding, what that means for you, and how that can generate into more money for entrepreneurs. And along the way, I might be like, and here's how this applies to your money. And here's, that,
absolutely.
that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So, everything about your business is intertwined. We hear the term holistic a lot when we're talking about like health and wellness, but really holistic it's just, you have to have the same kind of approach with your business. You can't just focus in certain pieces in certain areas and think that that's going to fix everything. You really have to take a holistic look at all of the different pieces that make up your business and address those different needs again, depending on what it is, but branding to me, and the approach that I take to it is a bit in that realm of kind of a holistic approach to business. I'm not going to help you set up your systems yeah, and that, but I think that your systems and your funnels and your marketing efforts and everything that you create and do to attract and maintain clients is part of your brand. So, and it has to be built in around a foundation of what I call, that's what I call our branding. We build branding foundations. So our foundational piece to all of the other pieces that you're going to do. So we take, my team and I, when it comes to brand strategy, we take it as in, we're going to help to create clarity for you. So getting super clear on who you are and what's important to you, who you want to serve, who's that most profitable client, who do you actually enjoy working with, and then also what do you want to do, what do you actually enjoy doing, and looking at the industry as well as your offering. And we then bring in consumer and market research into those areas. So whoever we've determined your ideal client is, whatever industry or offering that you have, we're going to do some consumer and market research in there to then find out what are they saying that they want, your ideal client, like what words are they using to say, this is what I want and this is what I can't find. And then also looking at the industry to say, okay, what's currently being marketed out there? What are your competitors doing? Basically, and what are they not doing? So what are they not talking about? They may offer the exact same thing that you do, but if you talk about a certain piece, because that's what your ideal client is saying that they want, well, that positions you appropriately in the marketplace. You'll hear other branding experts talk about positioning, and that's exactly what it is. How do we get your message and position it in a place that says, I'm the only one who does this. I'm the one who does this best. I'm the expert. That's really what positioning is putting you forth in the mind's eye of the audience as being the go-to, the expert for X. So that's what we do. We give you clarity, we give you positioning, and we give you image. So the imaging portion is also based off of the data. We use the data to help determine what your colors should be, your logo, what your website should look like, how it should be structured to best convert your clientele and build all your messaging. So then no matter what type of advertising or marketing you're doing, then you can take that messaging and it's applicable to whatever mode of marketing or advertising you're doing. So that whole like clarity, positioning, and imaging are what we see as being the key cornerstones of branding, and they build the foundation so you can be effective in your marketing. I know we gave a title to this of, branding to make more money, and that's exactly what we do, because if you just try to put something out there that you have no idea how it's interpreted by your audience, whether or not it's what your audience is actually looking for, and you try to put it everywhere, because for some reason as entrepreneurs, we seem to think that we have to be using all the things, we have to be doing all the things in all the places. You're spreading out your assets too much and not having enough of a return on those investments because it's not being done strategically.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love how you used the words assets and investments there. Who you're talking to here.
Exactly.
Because that's exactly what people do with money too. They try this little thing over here, that little thing over there, just like they try a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Twitter, right? Like, or whatever. And they don't have that core foundational approach to it. So I think maybe that's part of why we get along so well, is we approach money and marketing from the same, like, you got to put your foundation in place first.
Oh, well, and it's just the fact of, so when it comes to you're investing when you do any type of marketing, it's an investment. You're not just spending money to spend money. You're not buying a luxury item that you're just going to enjoy. I mean, even that, when you look at purchasing and all of that, that's still an investment. You're purchasing the handbag because of the enjoyment that you're going to receive from carrying said handbag. Well, it's the same thing when you're purchasing any type of marketing service. We fall into the marketing industry. I am not a marketing strategist. Like I said, I do the pre-marketing work. And then another thing I love is trying to help people find the right professionals to help them after that point. As part of our research is where should you be investing in your marketing? Because I'm sure that but kind of a standard corporate finance is you should be investing 20% of your intended revenue in marketing and advertising in order to reach that goal. Like that's just kind of a industry standard, if you will, for corporations and businesses. And they can afford to just kind of spread it out and see what sticks. And, it doesn't matter if a particular piece isn't bringing in revenue because they have enough money to just hit all the places and end up bringing it in. But entrepreneurs don't have that luxury. I mean, in small businesses, we don't have that luxury. We have to make sure that we're strategic with that 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever it is that we're investing to then get a return. And that means doing research, which is part of what we do, and laying that foundation so that you can be as successful as possible. You can have as much return as possible with what you invest. And that's not just money, that's time. Because let's just go ahead and say it, online and content creation and doing things like what you're doing here with a live stream and that, a regular show, that's content creation, and it takes time. And most of the time the content creator is the business owner, and so you look at how much time you spend creating content. If you're not creating content for the right platform because you think you need to be on all of them, then that's a huge amount of time that you could be spending actually doing your business or with your family, and it tends to lead to burnout. And it's a huge reason why a lot of people get out of business, especially solopreneurs and creatives, is because they get totally burnt out trying to be all the things everywhere. Whereas if you can give them a plan of, well, this is where you should be, and you can repurpose some content, you need to have a presence on, most platforms. But that's not where you need to focus your time and your effort and your money.
Yeah. Now, you used a really powerful word, pre-work. And I think that's a good way to think about some of this research and, like data-driven type decisions that lay a foundation. I know that can be really tempting to get stuck in pre-work as well.
Yes.
So same with, financial strategies. You could spend all your time researching which way to go that you never actually move forward.
Right.
With marketing, how do you know it's time? Okay, I've done enough research. I know where I'm going, and you're ready to put it into action.
Well, for those clients who work with us, we tell you. we give you the plan and we say, here you go. We put this together for you with some, obviously, their input as well. I mean, it's not just us creating something that they have no input in.
Right.
But really, I mean, so for us, from start to finish with a client, it's usually 3 to 4 months total, depending on exactly what what package they hire us for. If we're doing a whole lot of design work, like creating the website and all of those sorts of things. But as far as the actual strategy itself, it's about a 3-month process, because we have to get the research in and get the reports in. And our clients receive those reports as part of what they get. I mean, we use that information, obviously, to develop out their brand strategy. But we do we do provide those actual reports to them to keep, because then they can use it for things like their financial planning, and those sorts of necessities. But I would say, again, like if you're starting off, like for us, that's that 3-month package is we're starting but pretty much from scratch, if you will, and moving on forward. But for if it's kind of okay, well, let's get some updated information. Let's make sure that we're staying relevant and that sort of thing to our audience. I mean, that's just something that maybe you should get every, 6 months to a year and take a look at. But yeah, you shouldn't get but so bogged down in the research. I mean, technically, you don't have to wait to start your business until, say, for example, like a client of mine. It's not like they can't take on clients. It's not like they can't do personal outreach. I encourage all of my clients to do like a personal outreach campaign to let people know what they're doing and try to bring on referral partners and clients. You can do all of that sort of thing even before you have everything together. Yeah. So it's not that action can't be taken. I just wouldn't be investing a ton of money or time into like paid advertising without the information. Yeah. So don't let yourself get caught up in the perfectionist. I mean, I know it's so easy to go, oh, well, it's not quite right, or I don't quite know everything, to jump in and just start taking action. But there is a certain amount of pre-work that I think is required for anything to be done well. It's just like, you wouldn't launch an event without having done the pre-work to have all the pieces in place so that the event actually goes as smoothly as possible. You wouldn't wait until the week before to rent the location or, things like that. So I think there's a certain amount of preparation, but you also at a certain point have to say, okay, I have enough to jump out there and get started. I can launch the website later when it's ready. I can, do all those pieces, but still, because our warm market is where we should be starting anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think my clients should be working their personal connections while I'm still working on building their image and their positioning and all of that. Yeah. Especially if we can go ahead and work with them on some clarity on who their ideal client is and get them set up to be able to express what their offering is and what their idea, who they're looking to work with. Mm-hmm. Then they can go ahead and start reaching out to local contacts, their personal contacts, because then they can at least say what they're doing and who they're serving while we put together the other pieces. Yeah. And it's a process where you constantly tweak, you constantly adjust some of that when you're talking about what you do. So,
yeah. And it's kind of those initial conversations that you have with your warm market that can help inform like what people actually want and are looking for, and give you testimonials that give you the social proof for when you have some of those things published. Yeah. I see too many entrepreneurs just, they go ahead and figure out their name and put it out there on the socials and all these different things, only to have to backtrack later and guilty as charged. Right? Like,
yeah, no, that is a big one. Yeah. I will agree with you there. There are certain things that you need to research before you do it. Mm-hmm. I since I work a lot with consultants, most of mine end up using their name. Mm-hmm. But then, some common names out there. So you still have to be careful about legal filings and that sort of thing if you're going to do anything other than, since we are on, other than filing under your social security number.
Yeah. 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 So as you think about marketing and how it also relates to finance and the money within our businesses, what have you learned about money as you've learned about marketing, or just overall your entrepreneur journey? What wisdom do you have to share with those folks that'll watch this video?
I say, don't be afraid to go slow. Don't be afraid to keep the job while while building the business. Don't be afraid of that until you really are at a place that not only that feels secure for you and your family, but because there is a certain point that yes, you have to be full time in the business for it to be able to grow. But don't be afraid to let that happen, as it will. And then also, I know that so many times we fall into this kind of, and maybe it's just especially for women as well, in the entrepreneurial space, who feel like they can do it themselves and kind of piecemeal it together, quilt it together, quilt it together, if you will. And I know that, quilts are beautiful things, but only if they're put together with a special pattern.
Right.
And when you're piecemealing something together by yourself, it very rarely comes out the way that you want. And that I hear over and over. And actually, one of the reasons, like I said, that I do what I do is because I myself spent way too much time and way too much money on trying to put it together myself, for myself, without help. And so when my clients hire me, they know that I'm going to be putting together something that really in the long run saves them money, and it saves them time, which in and of itself ends up being money. So don't be afraid to hire the professional. And when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about coaches, although coaches are important. But when it comes to certain pieces of your business, you don't necessarily need a coach to try to help you figure out. Because again, that's still do it yourself.
Right.
That's still you trying to do all the things. I think there are certain parts of your business that you should hire out, that you should get professionals to do for and with you. Like I said, my clients are involved. It's not like I'm just creating something that they're not at all involved in. It's a collaborative process, but I am taking, these pieces that have, and putting it all together for them in a way that gets them there so much faster. Finances, in my mind, is another thing that you should have professionals in your life, in your business, that take care of getting you where, in that place. And it's a collaborative process.
Exactly.
You can't do it without them. You couldn't take care of my finances without me being involved.
Right.
But having that other person to hold your hand and to even take over some of those things for you can make all the difference in sometimes in even reaching the goal at all, of even making the business successful. Not just a matter of, oh, well, we'll get you there 6 months faster. Sometimes it's just if you get there at all.
Right.
So that's probably been one of the biggest, and to not think that you have to go this alone. I think the only people I've ever seen be successful have had teams. So whether it's hiring a professional, like I said, like a finance professional like yourself, or like a brand strategist like myself, mine's a short container, if you will. I'm not necessarily part of their long-term team, although I get brought back in, on occasion, like I said, to just make sure that we're on track. But I'm talking about like having a team, like whether it's a VA, or whatever. You cannot do it all yourself. You need to have support, and you need to have people to help you make it happen.
Yeah. I'm going to reflect back a little bit of what you said in my own language, because I think this is so powerful. People need to hear it a couple of times. And as I'm doing that, I know there's a few people watching live right now. Say hi in the comments, post a question. This is your chance. We're going to start wrapping up pretty soon. When you're talking about like coach or consultant or, this collaboration type thing, the word I love to use is ally. An ally is someone who you're doing it, you're going after your goals, but they're going to come alongside you and support you in ways that are going to help you get there, maybe faster, maybe more effectively, but they're going to empower you to be your best self, not do it for you, not belittle you, right? I hate marketers that are like, they come in and are like, well, you should just do this and you should just do that. And it's like, okay, but who's going to do it for me, right? Like, or that's not
Right.
what I hired you to do, right? And then I also don't like marketers. There's like, hand it off to me and I'll do it all for you, right? Because I am the entrepreneur. They're not going to be here forever. I'm going to be here forever in my business, right? Just like I'm going to be the one that's going to retire someday, and they may or may not be there, right, at that
Right.
point. So I have to be more concerned about this and more engaged in it than they are in some ways, but I also don't have time to do it all myself. And it's finding that mix. That's why I love the idea of allies, team, right? Like the collaboration. So however that applies for people, I hope they're thinking in those lines. We should care more about our financial futures than anybody else. We should also care more about our businesses than anybody else. And we need to find the people that are going to care just enough to push us to the next level.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Cool.
I think I know what you said about not wanting to hand it off. To me personally, though, I think that sometimes you do need to be able to hand things off. Obviously, you're involved. Like, don't hand things off and not know what's, that's
Right.
how people get, bamboozled out of all their money,
Right.
is when
Right.
they have, somebody take over and they
Mhm.
are not involved at all.
Mhm.
But
Well, it's
for
like
me,
it's like
yeah,
insurance. You would never do your own car insurance. You would never, like you that's part of why we have insurance companies, is to pull
right,
the risk and that kind of thing. The same
absolutely,
the same should be true potentially with your retirement. You can't do everything yourself.
right,
That's where you can bring in experts. And it's strategically choosing who to help
yes,
do it for you, and with
absolutely.
you, rather than just like that. Yeah, this woman contacted me recently. I don't think she had done much research into who she had given some investment to, and she lost her life savings because of it. And I think it's just she didn't take the time to do the pre-work, to lay the foundation to make sure, right? She found out she lost everything because she got a call from the attorney general. Like, that's pretty serious. Very few of us hopefully ever experience that, but it's real. And we have to do that pre-work and that research. Same with marketing. We could spend way too much on ads because we didn't do the pre-work. And I think maybe Melanie is frozen, might be joining us back here in a second. Um, oh, I heard her for a minute there. See, this is what's awesome with live. You never know how internet connections are going to go. Oh, and we lost her. We'll see if she can join back here in a second. I say to my son all the time, it's not an adventure unless something goes wrong. So here we are in adventure land. um, I know if you're anything like me in our entrepreneurial endeavors, we probably made so many mistakes in marketing and not finding the right people and stuff. Hey, I'm keeping everybody entertained.
I'm sorry.
All good. I said it's not an adventure unless something goes wrong. That's like our family
Right?
motto. So we're in
I know.
Adventureland now.
Yeah.
Yep. um, this has been so great. I don't know how much of my little ramble there that you heard.
Caught pieces of it,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. I'm sure it was incredible because I know that you're amazing. But no, you're absolutely right. You have to have different people who bring different areas of expertise to your life. It's the same for your business.
Yeah.
So,
I was
absolutely.
saying there is a woman contacted me recently who lost her life savings. She got a call from the attorney general letting her know her savings was gone. And it's because, and from my perspective, she didn't do the pre-work, the research to thoroughly vet. And the same could be true. You wake up one day and your Google ad spend has gone through the roof because there wasn't that pre-work, or something like that can waste thousands of dollars in an instant with marketing, it feels like.
Absolutely. I will not do ads without using a professional myself. I firmly believe that you should not be doing your own ads. I don't care if it's Facebook, I don't care if it's Google. You should at least consult with a professional advertising professional, because you can waste so much money. First of all, setting things up incorrectly so that, like you said, all of a sudden you wake up and your Google ad spend is ridiculous because you didn't set up the correct parameters and it didn't cut off at the right place. And also, just it's so detailed now in how you create these ads to actually get where people see them. It used to be super simple. It's not super simple anymore. And you have to have someone who and you need to vet them, like you said, because I've also known people to hire Facebook ad professionals and it just be a waste of money. And, they don't get any conversion. But you need, if you're going to, if investing in social media ads is the best place for you to be putting your marketing money, and that is true sometimes, but that is part of the research, is determining that that is where you should be investing, then part of that 20% is finding the right people to do it for you. Because I could tell you right now, you do not want to invest the time that it takes to not only learn how to effectively do Facebook ads, but to stay current on how to effectively do Facebook ads, because it is a full-time job in and of itself. Yeah. So that's probably my other piece, is that if you're going to do paid advertising, if that's the best place for you, find a professional, find a vetted professional that you can use to do that.
Okay. Mic drop right there. We'll wrap it up from there. It's standtallmarketing.com. Did I get that right?
You did. You did.
Okay. Go check out Melanie's website. Reach out to her to make sure that you're creating the right foundation that's data driven, but also personalized for your business. Thanks so much, Melanie. Love this conversation. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe, post in the comments, make sure Melanie's story gets out to the world. We'll talk to you again, same time, same channel next week.